Hello, friends of the Humus Heritage. Welcome back to another exploration of nature's hidden wisdom. Today we're talking about something that might sound a little strange at first but could, honestly, revolutionize how you think about soil building. We're taking ordinary grass clippings and harnessing the power of controlled fermentation to create a soil amendment so potent, so alive with beneficial biology, that it can transform your garden in ways traditional composting simply can't match. Let's address something that frustrates many gardeners. You've been composting diligently for years, turning piles, balancing greens and browns, waiting patiently for that black gold. Yet somehow, your soil still feels lifeless, still struggles to hold water, and your plants still need constant amendments. The problem isn't your dedication, it's the fundamental limitation of aerobic decomposition itself. Traditional composting relies on oxygen-loving microbes that literally burn through organic matter, releasing much of the nitrogen and carbon as gas into the atmosphere. Yes, you get compost eventually, but you've lost a significant portion of the nutrients your materials contain. Even worse, this process can take 6 months to 2 years, and what you end up with is essentially broken down organic matter, not the complex, stable humus that truly transforms soil structure and fertility. The critical distinction here is between decomposition and fermentation. Decomposition breaks things down through oxidation, losing nutrients to the air. Fermentation, however, is a preservation process. Think about sauerkraut or kimchi. These foods don't rot, they transform through controlled microbial action that preserves and even enhances their nutritional value. The same principle applies to soil amendments, and this is where our grass clipping ferment enters the picture as a genuine game changer for building living soil quickly and efficiently. Grass clippings are among the most abundant and overlooked resources in suburban landscapes. Rich in nitrogen, minerals, and already partially broken down by the mowing process, they're perfect candidates for fermentation. When we introduce beneficial microorganisms and create the right anaerobic conditions, we're essentially pickling these clippings, locking in their nutrients, while beneficial bacteria and fungi begin pre-digesting the material into forms plants can immediately use. The mention of mildew might raise eyebrows, but here's the important clarification. We're not talking about introducing random molds or fungi into your system. Instead, we're working with controlled fermentation using proven microbial inoculants, often called effective microorganisms or EM solutions. These contain specific strains of lactic acid bacteria, yeasts, and photosynthetic bacteria that create an environment where beneficial organisms thrive, while harmful pathogens are suppressed. The white, yeast-like growth you might see on properly fermenting material isn't dangerous mildew, but rather beneficial candida and other fermenting yeasts doing their valuable work. This process mirrors ancient preservation techniques humans have used for millennia: Korean natural farming, Japanese bokashi composting, and traditional fermented plant extracts all rely on this same principle. Controlled anaerobic fermentation concentrates nutrients, preserves organic compounds, and creates a living amendment teeming with beneficial biology. What takes composting 18 months can happen in just 3 to 6 weeks through fermentation, and the resulting product is far more bioactive and nutrient-dense. The process itself is remarkably straightforward, though attention to detail matters. Start with fresh grass clippings from lawns you know haven't been treated with synthetic herbicides or pesticides within the past year. Chemical residues can kill the beneficial microbes you're trying to cultivate and potentially harm your garden plants. You'll need about 5 gallons of loosely packed clippings to start. Next, acquire a microbial inoculant. Commercial EM solutions work excellently, or you can make your own by culturing rice wash water with milk and a bit of sugar, though commercial products offer more reliable results for beginners. Mix your inoculant according to package directions, typically 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon of water, adding a tablespoon of molasses or sugar to feed the microbes. So, you'll want to layer your grass clippings in a 5-gallon bucket with a tight-fitting lid, sprinkling the inoculant solution throughout and pressing down firmly to remove air pockets. The key here is creating those anaerobic conditions while maintaining about 60% moisture content. The clippings should feel, kind of like a wrung-out sponge, moist but not dripping wet. Press a plastic bag directly onto the surface before sealing the lid to exclude as much oxygen as possible. Then, place your bucket in a location with stable temperatures between 60 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Over the next 3 to 6 weeks, the fermentation will proceed through distinct stages. Initially, you might notice some warmth and a slightly sweet yeasty smell when you crack the lid. This is perfect. A properly fermenting batch should never smell rotten or putrid. If you detect ammonia or rotten egg odors, you've got putrefaction instead of fermentation, likely from too much moisture or incomplete anaerobic conditions. The solution is adding dry leaves or paper to absorb excess moisture and repacking more tightly. The transformation that occurs inside that sealed bucket is, honestly, pretty remarkable. The lactic acid bacteria drop the pH, creating an acidic environment that preserves nutrients while breaking down cellulose and lignin into simpler compounds. Enzymes produced by the fermenting organisms predigest proteins and carbohydrates, making them immediately available to soil microbes and plant roots. The result is a concentrated amendment that, pound for pound, delivers far more biological activity and available nutrients than traditional compost. When properly fermented grass is buried in your garden soil, it acts as a slow-release fertilizer and a microbial inoculant simultaneously. The surrounding soil microbes metabolize the fermented material over several weeks, gradually releasing nutrients while the introduced beneficial organisms colonize the rhizosphere around your plant roots. This creates improved soil aggregation, better water infiltration and retention, and enhanced nutrient cycling. Plants growing in soil amended with fermented materials consistently show stronger root development, increased disease resistance, and more vigorous growth compared to those in compost-amended soil alone. The liquid byproduct, often called fermented plant juice or grass tea, is equally valuable when properly diluted. This amber liquid contains soluble nutrients, enzymes, beneficial metabolites, and suspended microorganisms. Diluted at ratios between 1:10 and 1:50 with water, it becomes an exceptional foliar spray or soil drench that delivers both nutrition and beneficial biology directly to your plants. Regular applications can reduce pest pressure, improve photosynthetic efficiency, and accelerate plant growth during critical development stages. The beauty of this approach lies in its scalability and adaptability. Whether you're maintaining raised beds, managing a market garden, or stewarding a small urban plot, fermented amendments fit seamlessly into existing systems. Many gardeners adopt a continuous production model, starting a new batch every 2 weeks during the growing season, ensuring a steady supply of this living amendment. Consider incorporating fermented grass into planting holes when transplanting, mixing it into potting soil for containers, or creating fermentation trenches between crop rows where you bury fresh batches and plant over them after the 2-week mellowing period. This trench composting approach builds fertility exactly where your plants will root, eliminating the need to transport finished compost across your garden. For those managing larger properties, this method offers significant advantages over traditional composting infrastructure. There's no need for turning, temperature monitoring, or massive pile construction. Simple buckets or barrels with tight seals handle the entire process. The time savings alone make this approach worthwhile, but the superior nutrient retention and microbial density make it genuinely transformative for soil building. If you're ready to create genuinely living soil that grows more fertile with each season, if you're tired of expensive amendments that provide temporary fixes rather than lasting improvement, then controlled fermentation of grass clippings and other green materials deserves a place in your gardening practice. This isn't just another technique, it's a fundamental shift toward working with biology rather than simply managing chemistry. Subscribe to the Humus Heritage for more explorations of these regenerative methods, and share this guide with fellow gardeners ready to unlock nature's secret sauce for super soil. Together we're building not just better gardens, but a deeper understanding of the living systems that sustain us all.